think it's time for just, finding a focus. He also said, you could tap back into IT, use your degree, or, get a 9 to 5 that will, fulfill and fuel your entrepreneurship, or fuel your education. You can go back into school and, and use that money to pay off your school and get, a degree in business and learn how to do these things. So, with that being said, the way I got into community work is, as I was finding a 9 to 5, I fell into nonprofit sector, and I got my first job as a lead mentor with a nonprofit organization, and that's kind of where I got to see all of the community type of work being done on a larger scale. And I was like, hey, I can do this because I was doing it already at a smaller scale. I was like, hey, I think this can go far for me. And to be honest, things happen rather quickly. A 5-6 year span is not, too long. And where I'm at today, I think it is a testimony of, the village that we see today on, live and in the comments, finding, and having a phenomenal partner and significant other, just having somebody aside from you that you can learn from, build from. I know Monet Schultz is on here. That's my significant other. She played a pivotal role in my just my matriculation on how, believing in myself more, and being able to put myself first in many things and not selling myself short, in a lot of different areas. I remember when I was transitioning from that first nonprofit job, and I'm going to another nonprofit for a higher position. I went in there, got the interview, got the job. And, I tell this story all the time because it really shows how much she believed in me from an early stage. I left the job with a full-time position, but with the same salary or pay rate that I was getting from the previous job. And she said, nah, go back in there and ask for a bigger raise. And I told myself, like, hey, I think, I don't know if I should do that. Well, I just finished the interview. I got the job. I think, I can work my way up there. She told me, no, go in there and ask for that raise. But, tell them why, look at the reasons why, you're educated, you have your bachelor's degree, you've been doing this work for a couple of years now. And, with that being said, I left with the higher raise. I asked for it. And it was funny because at the time that second job, and the executive director, she looked at me and smiled, and she said, I'm okay with giving you that raise. I have no problem doing that. And it was at that moment I knew she was the one, and I knew that I really have it in me. Like you mentioned, Jared, like I'm him, but I have the village behind me as well that can support that, and I really wouldn't have been here without any of them today, for sure.
I said, Mika, get your ass in the comments. Mika.
Mika's always in the comments, bro. She
baby.
That's my man. Don't you dare do MVP like that.
I'm joking with you. She on every episode. She on
every episode. Don't you dare do MVP like that.
I know, I'm just joking with her.
She be batting 100.
I laugh. You know that was funny as hell, though. Okay.
Yo.
That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious, man. Go ahead, Dadesh.
I feel like we're gonna ask the same question.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, let's see. So you mentioned, your significant other. Am I on? Right here?
I was going there with you.
Come on. We on the same page. Look,
we on the same page.
So,
we on the same page.
I don't like that. Hold on. Yo, Curtis,
no way. For that.
I didn't like the way you did it.
Just jealous.
Damn, that was crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Boom. Cool.
Don't fall for the peer pressure.
Okay, no. Back to Curtis. Bring it back. We do talk about relationships, right? We told you in the agreement we don't do the salacious nonsense, but we do like to talk about relationships and how they do contribute to your success.
Yeah.
right? You just told us about that one story with your partner, how she, you know, she really pushed you to go beyond your limits and ask for what you deserve.
Right.
I would love to know, right, just in like totality of like, because y'all been together, I think y'all been together as long as I've known you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all, and we've known each other for almost a decade now. Wow. So I would love for you to just speak on, you know, having a partner, going through right your life trials and tribulations. Also, you know, if you can share a little bit about like, you supporting her, I would love to hear, you know, some stories of just how I want to ask this question. Yeah, how you guys have both contributed to each other's successes, because I think that is so important in the Black community, right? Because, you know, a lot of us, and I'll be honest, like I'm single right now, and I'm like, I'm in my own grind mode. Would I love a partner? Absolutely. God, you heard me. But like that's not my space and place right now. But I do love to encourage, right, people who are in relationships and who have a partnership to share their stories, share that experience, because it is real, it is possible,
Yeah.
and if it's something you want, you'll get there.
No, 100%. And I think it's definitely real. It's something that I believe that anyone and everybody can get. And in regards to the relationship that I have, it's very unique because we both are leaders in our own light. Whether it's in different spaces, I'm definitely not going to put the type of things or work that she do out there. Not sure if she wants it out there or not, but she is the way we support each other is very unique. And you know, we definitely gonna have to sometimes put self-care and mental health in it because of the work that we do. So we make that our priority between our relationship, that you know, we have days where we, you know, get massages, or days where this is the ways that we support each other, because we have to make sure that we because the work that we do can get tiring, you know, the work that we do, especially in the community work, especially that in the work that she's doing, putting mental health and the self-care first is something that, you know, you have to put in the front. But in other ways, we support each other. We go to each other's events. We support each other's when we're getting honored or getting awards, or, you know, she said, I promise I'm not in the CIA.
Yeah. The secret.
You know, that's one. She must have known that was. She's in the alphabet, boys.
No, for real. But it is something that it's unique. It's unique. And like I said, you know, not as you mentioned it earlier, like she really pushed that drive, and I do the same for her. You know, there's times even with on a business tip. You know, I had some, you know, obviously I've been in the field of business prior. And when she wanted to start her own nonprofit or her own business, I helped push her to start that, you know, and these are ways that, you know, I like to say I keep her grounded, you know.